Today we're going to continue talking about Jasmin's problem. So Jasmin, as you'll remember, she has a variable income. So it's very high at the beginning and then goes down to nothing. She gets a little bump and then nothing to the end of the year. Jasmin's problem is that she's got her fixed income or fixed expenses that are actually increasing over time with inflation. So she has fixed expenses and variable income. And we know that Jasmin loves to spend all her money right at the beginning of the year, and she's got nothing at the end of the year. So we looked at some different possibilities for Jasmin on how she could actually put herself in a situation where she doesn't spend all her money at the beginning of the year. So cash, we found, was too liquid. Private equity was not liquid enough. Stocks were too volatile. And Bitcoin was way too volatile. So these things didn't work for us. Again, we're looking at this from a very simplistic point of view. This is a complex problem, and we're looking at these from a very simplistic point of view. Again, we're looking at all of these in isolation, of course. So this is a very complex problem. We're just looking at simple potential solutions to this. Later on, we'll get into some more complex solutions that may work a little bit better. Now we're just kind of looking at it from a simplistic point of view. So in isolation, none of these worked for us. So what could we look at now? What would be another asset class? So we can look at the biggest asset class in the world, which is real estate. So one thing to keep in mind is that real estate has 1,000 different manifestations. It is the largest asset class, and it's likely the most varied asset class, going from farmland, commercial real estate, industrial real estate, residential real estate. We could look at multifamily, townhouses, detached. There are so many different types of real estate, bare land. So when we think about this, we've got to think that we're always looking at things from a very simplistic point of view, especially right now. So what I'm saying about real estate in general may not apply to any specific real estate situation. So how are we going to do this? So again, this is our problem. Variable income. And she's got no money at the end of the year. So what we want to look at first, and I guess we're kind of creating a bit of a straw man, is the thing that we know is just not going to work. So what if we leverage? So got 350,000. We borrow 650,000. We buy $1 million place. And this is our corporation. This is the real estate that we bought. So this is worth $1 million. So I come to November, December, I'm Jasmin, and I say, okay, I want to take out some money out of this real estate. So I can't really sell it because it's probably going to take me 4 months to sell. At least. And I can't borrow against it either. So I can't take out any debt because that debt is already maxed out. I've already got $650,000. So I'm stuck if I'm Jasmin, if I want to get that money back out for the end of the year. So that's easy. We can get rid of this one. And the next one is going to be a little more complex in that there are a lot more considerations for this one. So again, dealing with that same problem. Oh, my income is variable. I've got no money at the end of the year. And similarly, we've got our corporation and we've got our real estate within the corporation. Now we're not going to borrow any money. We're just going to pay $350,000 for it. Now we own that thing outright. So now we come to November, December, and we decide to sell this one. We're in the same problem as we were before. It's going to take us at least 4 months to sell, I would suggest. So we're not in a good position to take that money out for when we need it. It's too illiquid. So now remember, if we've got a timing problem, and this is our timing problem right here, we can't sell it in time. We can always solve that timing problem with debt. And debt, make it sound simple, debt is something that we want to be very careful with because debt can be very dangerous for us, right? So now where are we? We understood with debt. Remember, with volatility, debt killed us. And that's because we were in a situation with the stocks and the real estate that we may have to use our debt here. The stock might, or the Bitcoin might continue to go down. So we are still in that situation. We have some volatility, but it's reduced volatility now. So now we look at the asset we've got now, we're looking at it a bit more that way. So the price will change, but it's not going to change dramatically. But we can still be in a situation where we're in a declining market that declines for a while. So we could be in a situation where we're taking on debt, and we're taking on debt. And we could be in a situation where now we can't really borrow enough, or we can't really sell to pay off that debt. So we could be in that situation. So similar to above, we are in a bit of a dangerous situation with our real estate in that we could end up in the same situation that we were in stocks. It is not as risky as it was with the stocks because we're not in that situation where we could be falling dramatically in a short period of time. We're looking at, but we still face this danger that this asset is going to be falling consistently over time. So we could be in a situation in the future where we're not able to pay off our debt. So this is where we get killed again with the volatility. Again, granted, the real estate is not as volatile as the stocks, but it still has that possibility of long-term decreasing in value. And if we wanted to sell at some point to pay off that debt, we have also the illiquidity of the asset that we have to deal with. So real estate gets us close. We're pretty close here if we got that line of credit right at the beginning and maybe we were able to get the 65%. We're probably not going to get a commercial line of credit. What is that? It's somewhere in the 250,000, something like that. That is going to be a little bit difficult to get from a bank just because it's a very small amount. So we've got a few different issues. One is that we're borrowing a very small amount of money. Two is that we may not be able to get that loan. That may not be enough money to cover what we need at the end of the year. And number three, there's still that volatility issue. Number four, there's the illiquidity. So there are a number of different things that make this difficult to implement, there is some possibility in some cases that this might work for somebody. So that's it for today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.